Okay, so it's day 2, and I'm feeling really excited and nervous because the numbers are starting to go down. So, I definitely want to just make sure that the relationships that I've formed are just super strong. Because if I'm up on that final 3, and I'm looking at everybody and they're the jury, I want them to obviously vote my way. I am starting to get a little nervous though playing with Noah. Um, I'm just scared that that secret's gonna come out, and if I could just keep it in the box to the end, then that's exactly what I want. And I don't want people finding out, and I want to beat him. So let's do it.
Do you have any plans in terms of like who you want to get to the end with? Like, are there people that you trust more than others?
I definitely say that I trust Kiera and John Michael. Also Leaf. But in which order, I'm not sure yet. So.
Okay. Anyone that you want to target at the start of the day?
There's definitely still some floaters. I think if we can kind of chip away, I feel strong enough in my bonds with everybody that they would not vote me out. So I think we just chip away at people who aren't in our alliance.
Names.
Oh, let's see. Matthew. Ben is with me, but he's not with everybody else. I would say Dee Dee's kind of on the fence, but I do want to work with her. And I think that's about it. But I think that my target for this morning to start off, it's probably going to be Matthew.
Is there a person in your alliance that you are most eager to target first?
Ooh. I feel like Leaf is a lot stronger than we think he is. I mean, he did Venus Flytrap, SK, and we basically gave him all the seeds to do it. So that's on his resume. So I think so.
So trust him the most and want to target him the most?
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Anything else?
No, let's get it.
Okay.
Start of day 2. How are you feeling, Ben?
I don't know how to feel right now. End of last night, I kind of tried to make a move at the last minute that did not work out. Despite the fact everyone saved me to help uproot me, I then tried to flip it on Dee Dee at the last minute because I do think there's a group, and I think I'm just on the outskirts, and I think if I don't do anything soon, I'm going to be going soon. I don't think Maddie's with the group. I think Dee Dee's closer to the group. We realized they were going to be blocking 2 votes, which we're going to bank the votes for their theoretical group, and that me and Matt would still probably get to vote, and that Lee L would be the tiebreaker. I knew that they also had the bank votes, so we knew in theory that, hey, we could flip it, keep Maddie. So we threw out the idea, me and Matt were thinking the same thing, and then Lee came over and he was like, you know what, I'm the tiebreaker, let's do this. And then I may have kind of asked Sean if it was okay, and I think they were already planning on using the bank votes, but I think that pushed it in the direction it did. So, I don't know, I'm glad those banked votes are out of the way. Yeah, sorry, there's people walking by. But no, yesterday, what else? I don't know, I feel like in general, I don't know, like, where I fit in with people. I thought I had people that had my back, but I feel like they're working with other people over me. Right now, my 2 closest allies, or who I perceived them to be throughout the day yesterday, were Sean and Lee F. I hope that's still the case. I need to touch base with them this morning to see if that is the case. I feel like they're the only 2 that I felt I could be just completely open with. Very late last night, I did open up to Matt and Lee L, because I feel like they're on the outs, so they could become my new closest allies. We'll see how today plays out.
Quick question. Yeah. So what is your path to surviving the first half of day 2?
The first half of today?
Yeah.
What is my path? Fight, adapt. I don't really know right now. I don't have a clear plan, which is scary. And I didn't have a clear plan at all yesterday either. It's been a wild ride. Like, trying to keep my options open. I feel like I'm starting to see the writing on the wall. I know Sean wanted a majority alliance going into day 2. He has not yet pulled me into that, so I have a feeling there might already be one, and I either need to try to get into that If there's not one, hopefully they pull me into that soon. Or if not, maybe I go evil Ben and try to throw them under the bus if they started that without me. Hopefully we don't have to do that. I don't want to do that. I feel really bad about voting Dee Dee last night. I need to have a conversation with her. But yeah.
I don't feel great. It's not my best game. It's clearly becoming evident. And the problem is that so many people are lying well, and even lying about things they don't have to lie about. And so today, my only hope is to actually win a challenge and get into the greenhouse and to try to figure out exactly who's lying the least. I feel really bad about Maddie because we had a final 3, but we waited too long to try to get someone else in together because I had people, she had people, and we didn't bring it together, which was a mistake. But it got to the point where I give her a seed and she ties and it goes to a random, and that seed would have had to come from me and John Michael, and John Michael, there's no way I could ask him to do that truthfully, and then if I don't use my bank vote, it's a tie vote, which means Tulip would have had to break the tie, and then we really would have found out. And in that moment, he would have probably, I don't know, he probably would have taken me out, I think. I guess I'm going to figure that out today. But,
Yeah.
so I got to figure it out. And who's lying and who's telling the truth. And I know there were 7 votes, but only 4 went my way. And it shouldn't have been that way. I'm glad I used my bank vote, so I'm here one more time. But I got to figure that out, because the person who told me and implied that I should use it is someone I think that's lying to me. But he was probably trying to flush out my bank vote, which he did, but I had to. So, doesn't mean I can trust him just because he gave me the heads up. So again, everybody lying. And they're doing a good job of it, so,
Who do you think, because you said that 7 votes, 4 were against you, 4 were for you. Mm-hmm. Who do you think's lying to you currently?
I don't know. I truly think Matthew's telling the truth. And that's about it. I really want to feel like John Michael's telling the truth, but maybe not. But I think my 3 votes were those 3. I have one more, and that's where because, I really think Lee and Sean have been together, but then that whole vote thing, and I thought Kiera and Noah were more together, and so the way the votes fell is really kind of funky. So, but 3 people, which would mean if Sean because he had 2 votes he was supposed to put on me, and he did not. But he's also the one that told me there are 3 votes against me. So they lied in my face, telling me they were gonna, if I went along with the plan, they would use the votes, and they didn't. So ultimately, I think 3 of my votes were the 2 that Matthew placed, and I really think John Michael. I made my notes. It was very clear when I went to bed. If I'm right about Noah and Kiera, it would make sense that those 2 votes plus Matthew, that would be my 4, and then that would mean that I'm right that Ben screwed me and Sean screwed me. And that would make sense with their whole plan, that they just worked me. But I have gone through that scenario so many times, and I don't know if I'm going to get the answer. I'm trusting Matthew right, and either he or I get some power,
So, currently, what's your path to the end?
My path to the end is I have to win some competitions, and some of these games are a chance, but some of them aren't, and I'm not usually this bad. I've been close a few times, but I don't know. But there are plenty of people that haven't won, but they're not in the position I'm in, so that's the only way, really. And if Matthew if we're able to have a conversation, so I'm going to come clean and tell him everything I know. And I really think if I'm put on the block, again, if I don't win, I'm going to be messy and tell everybody everything I know. So I'm going out with a bang.
John Michael, start of day 2. How do you feel?
Yes, I'm tired right now, so I'm nervous too. So I went to bed at 1 and I woke up at 4:30. So I only slept for 3.5 hours. Because my mind was spinning. Am I gonna tell them that? Absolutely not, because they don't need to know that my mind's working that way. But yeah, so I'm running on 3.5 hours of sleep. But to calm my mind, I watched some RuPaul's Drag Race, and I had like 3 cups of coffee already, and I'm on cup number 4. So we are caffeinated and we're ready to go. But I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling actually very confident, which is something I did not feel the previous time. So I'm good.
So, John Michael, what is your path right now to the end?
So right now, as of last night, I pitched the idea, and let me put emphasis on that. I did this. I reached out. I reached out to Noah, Ani, and Kiera to make a final 4, and then for the final 5 part, we're just gonna bring in Lee F, but we're gonna cut Lee F because Lee has too good of a resume to make it to the end. If he makes it to the end, he will win. And so I pitched that idea, and it seems to be like we're on board going for that. Obviously, that could change. One thing that is coming to mind at the moment in this 5 alliance is that nobody knows, to my knowledge, besides me and Didi, that Ani and Noah are married. The perk of this, though, is that Ani and Noah do not know that I know that. So I'm holding that close to my chest right now. Will I use that to help me? If I have to, then yeah. Whether that be like, hey, take me with you to the final 3, or I'm on the chopping block and somebody else needs to go, I'm exposing that. So I have that in the back of my pocket for later usage.
Cool. And then what would you say has been your biggest learning from day 1?
Sure. Biggest learning from day 1. I feel like from playing in season 4 to now, I feel like I've learned a ton. I feel like I've truly assessed from season 4 how I played, and then so coming into this, I feel like I had a way better game plan. So something I've learned from this is those relationships that you build matter so much, whether or not you are aligned with them. Some people may think that my strategy is playing all sides of the house, but truly, when I'm playing all sides, what I'm doing here is building connections with those people that are not in my alliance, but I'm not directly telling them, hey, I'm with you. Hey, I'm voting with you. It's totally different. I'm just having a good, cordial relationship, and I'm doing them favors in return. So, for example, I'm not close with Ben, or I wouldn't consider myself as close with Ben as I am with others, but I did him a favor last night by giving him a seat. Will I vote him out? Probably. But did I help him out, and will that give me a jury vote at the end? Hell fucking yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I guess I learned that relationships are the most important. Challenge wins or challenge wins, whatever, that's fine. If I win some, that's fine. But my goal is that social and strategic game.
Oh, hit him with it. Hit him with it. Shit. All right. Start of day 2, Kiera. How do you feel?
I feel well positioned. I feel well rested. I feel well fed. My tummy's happy. I'm happy. But I'm ready to play this fucking game.
All right. What would you say is your path to the end?
Well, first of all, I need to get in the greenhouse, bitch, because I need to build my damn resume. So that's one path. The second path, or continuing down that same path, I need to get out my biggest allies. Somebody's got to go. At the end of the day, if I'm sitting on the block to them, I don't think I'm winning. And that's not what I came here to do. So, the goal is to get in the greenhouse, cook, stir up the pot a little bit, ruffle some feathers.
Perfect.
And win.
Perfect. And then who would you say are your big targets going into day 2?
Ani. She's got a huge resume. I need to get her out the house. But she's also one of the people I'm working closely with. Since, like, it's even in the split house, I kind of knew that me and Ani would be working together even though we were in different houses. I didn't even have to say anything. And you know how I know that? Because of Noah. Because Noah and Ani are married. you know? So, Noah came to me and was like, I want to work with you. I was like, okay. Because when somebody tells you they want to work with you, it's the first fucking round you work with them. And you string along and see where it goes. It went really well. We made it pretty far so far. But now I need to get them out. So my biggest target is probably Ani, honestly. And I think that's going to set me up well.
So you said that in order to build up your resume, you need to win a challenge. On the flip side of that, how do you feel your social game's been thus far?
Great. I know I'm well positioned, but I know that's not everybody respects a social game when you make it to the end. If somebody is sitting next to you, like, for example, someone like Ani, even Noah, even Leaf, they have good resume, like they've made moves, but they also have a good social game. Mind you, us four have been brought to 3 Final Fives. So like I know we're all 4 well positioned, so that's why I need to get them out of there so I can be the best position. Despite having not as much of a resume as them. So
Cool. And then any final remarks going into day 2?
I'm here to win it. I'm here to play. Kier Hive, I love you. You're probably the only reason why I got this far. No, I won't say that. Like, I'm gonna be humble, but like, it's because people love me. But I think that's it. Like, I'm here to play. I'm here to win, and I'm gonna try my very best.
Start of day 2.
Yes.
How does it feel?
A little overwhelming. Just a wide range of emotions. I feel like I have, so I started out playing the game exactly the way I said I would, I think, in terms of I really wasn't trying to win power early. I really wasn't trying to stick out too much, but I was trying to show that I could be a good ally, forge good alliances in the game with people, and then I fear as the game went on, I may have girl bossed too close to the sun. A part of 2 Venus flytrap plans, I got a sunflower, and then was part of a green thumb plan, and then ended the night with a vote that almost went against my wishes, but I was able to rally to get Ben to uproot to get our seed queen Maddie out as the first juror. I then gave my 1 banked vote to Sean to ensure that no one would pull any shenanigans against Dee Dee, and they tried. They definitely tried it against Dee Dee, and I just had this feeling like, hey, I don't want to hold on to anything powerful, because if I have anything powerful, then it's an easy reason to want to start to get that stuff out of the game. So I went ahead and gave my bank vote to Sean, and I said, this is our insurance policy to make sure no one pulls anything on Dee Dee. They definitely tried because it was a 4-3 vote, and so the fact that Liel would have been the tiebreaker in this tells me that they probably were counting on this, and they probably had already discussed with him the possibility of breaking the vote in Maddie's favor, which, like, I think, funny enough, is not really a move against me, but in the grand scheme of things, I do feel like I have probably played a bit more of a visible game on day 1 than I would have liked going into day 1. That being said, I have had like the most ridiculous fun because I feel like I have done literally so much of everything you can do, and yet I still have not even sat on the nomination chair. Beyond that, like, I'm so against big alliances, and yet I entertained and saw this idea to help craft an 8-person alliance on basically week 2 of this game, and we all made the final 10. And so I think having that even as, like, we had this communication channel that we were calling it that helped us ensure our safety through to the jury, and it was successful. Obviously, an 8-person alliance can only last so long, and so I have now been thrown into 3 iterations of a Final 5 that include, in every single one of them, Ani, Kiera, and Noah, with different members being Sean, John Michael, and Sean, because apparently there's a final five where Sean's the fifth, and apparently there's a final five where I'm the fifth. Interesting. I have interest in getting with those people further in the game right now, because I still think like I have my biggest trust right now is in players like Sean, Kiera, Noah, Ani, but I do think that I also really need to not let go of the relationships I have with Ben and Dee Dee, because even though I nominated Dee Dee last round, and I think that there is definitely a fracture in some of the trust layer, I was very, very vocal in what I wanted to happen in putting her up there, and the plan to not only uproot Ben, but use the bank vote and do everything to save her as well. And so I think the fact that I was able to deliver on the promise to get both of those things to happen makes this maybe not, the most in the direction of trust, but I think it is something that shows her like, I am going to fight to make sure that I prove to you I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and we can work something together. So I need to work a few angles and really analyze, like I don't have this perfect answer yet, but I think there are some, just when you're the sunflower, everyone's coming to you, so you don't always get to choose who, because you don't want to like isolate someone by saying no, I'm not going to talk to you. And so I need to think about like what relationships I have maybe let go stale a couple rounds or even just one round, so that I make sure that I'm talking to those people, making sure we're okay, because I think that there is still some consensus of like, okay, well, I didn't fly trap them, but this is different. That was a long time ago. I can't hold on to stuff like that. I have nothing to my name. I have no bank votes. I have no seeds. I have no power. So I also think I am going to try and win every damn thing that I participate in. I'm not throwing a comp anymore today. Although I did not throw the paddle with the domino competition, my hand was just turning into like the Fairly Odd Parents teacher every time I tried to put a domino on. So that was bad. But I was not throwing anything else. I was not throwing that. I was throwing a whole lot of everything else. The only other thing that I didn't win or didn't place in the greenhouse for that I was like trying was the seed, or the seed and immunity challenge, where we were doing the blindfold and doing the different items. I tried really hard because I knew that the target was Jodely, and I knew it was going to put the people in the greenhouse in a weird position if they couldn't nominate Jodely, so I wanted to try and help block Jodely out from immunity. One of the things that I'm really proud about is I feel like I have done a much better job with honesty in this game than I would have thought I would have done. Even when I threw my Hinky vote a couple rounds back, and when the Jodely vote happened, and I put a vote intentionally on Maddie, which I guess I technically put 2 votes intentionally on Maddie in 2 subsequent rounds, but one, I definitely didn't want her to leave and didn't think she would have anywhere near the amount of votes. And then when Jodely left, I knew that I was actively putting her life at risk. But I thought, I had heard some mumbling that there was at least going to be one other vote on Maddie, and with only 5 votes in the game, I knew that it was not necessarily in my best interest for Jodely to be the one to leave the game. So if there were other votes there, then it's an easy way to keep someone who was going to never come after me. But also, if there was only 1 vote, or in the case 2 votes, I could be like, I didn't want it to be unanimous. Jodely was very upset. Jodely never came to me like really emotional or anything like that. I mean, I was never going to let him go unanimously, but there was more intentionality, and I was definitely willing to lose Maddie. And I think that set me up really well for the next round to be okay with targeting Maddie, because then I can basically say, I've voted you out twice. I'm ready for you to go. I love Maddie. I just think, with someone who has played twice, and that has nothing to do with the way I wanted to I didn't talk to anyone else about that, but I was just thinking, okay, you've kind of had a full experience coming back. I want to have a full experience, and I would feel really, really dumb if I lost at the end of this game because the 3-time player won, because you let the 3-time player get to the end of the game. So I do think, while I can't claim like every bit of credit. Like, this was definitely a team effort to get Maddie out. Like, I love that I was able to be part of that plan. And I think looking back on yesterday, my biggest moves in this game were based on teamwork and my ability to rally people. And I think that that is far more impressive once you hit a jury than just saying, I won these comps and I made these moves. I haven't won a comp until, or literally last round. And I didn't even win the comp. I came in 4th place and they still let me, well, they pretty much made me take the sunflower. But that's beside the point. I didn't even need it. And if I had not gotten it, I would have been fine. But I didn't need comps the entire day 1 of this game, and I'm hoping that I don't need them, but I'm going to try and win them. But I think every bit of day 1, and I think the way that I'm able to build up the story of my game is that I have really established teamwork, trust, and collaboration in this game to get what I've wanted to happen. And it may not have been solely my idea, but I've been good at executing plans and being, I would say, at least a key piece in moving and shaking those plans. If I am reading things correctly, I think that my threat level is going to be up there going into day 2. And I think that some of these final 5 plans that I've been pulled into, I think that I am a bit of a patsy in those, in the sense of they want to bring me along and probably even scapegoat me as a lot of the power, so that the point where they have to get rid of someone, I'm just going to be this person with all of this blood on my hands, all of these resume moves of the Venus flytrap, the, getting Maddie out, blah, 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 the list goes on. And so I have to be really careful, and I don't know this, but next confessional, I'll be able to tell you all a little bit more in terms of how I need to navigate this the best, because this morning is about figuring out what is Lee doing, and right now, Lee does not know what he is doing.
Start of day 2. Lee, how do you feel?
I feel good. Coming in, I feel like I need to go a bit harder than I did day 1. So I'm excited to see what I can bring to the table today.
Yeah. So what is your path right now to get to the end?
I definitely need to form like a good 4-person alliance. People have been dancing around different groups, so I'm trying to figure out what groups makes the most sense for me. Right now, I feel like I need to form something with Matthew and Ben, and I'm hoping I can pull my number 1 Ani in and kind of get that alliance formed today.
Cool. And then who would you say is the biggest threat right now in the game?
The biggest threat right now, I would probably say Kiera. Talking to everybody, everybody's always like, I love Kiera, I love Kiera, I love Kiera. I see the different connections that she has, and anytime a Final Four group is mentioned to me, she's always a part of it, but like, she and I, we don't really like talk much, so I'm not sure like where she stands.
What are you hoping plays out a little bit differently in day 2 than day 1?
I'm just like really sick of like doing what the house wants, or like voting the way the house wants. Kind of like annoyed with myself for playing into that last night, the last round, by getting Maddie out. So that's definitely something I want to stay away from moving forward today. Try to like flip the house. And I like messy votes. Like I like the close votes. I mean, we've had close votes, but it's just like,
Hello, Matthew. Start of day 2. How do you feel?
I feel like I'm on the bottom. I kind of clocked the power dynamic last night in the final round. Tried to flip the vote. Unfortunately, we were 1 vote shy. We almost had a tie, and Lee would have sent Dee Dee home if so. I think that it's like make or break this first round this morning, so I'm really nervous.
Yeah. First talk me through, what is your path to get to the end right now?
My path to the end would probably be with Ben and Lee L. Us, and then we're gonna have to try and pull in Dee Dee, and Kiera are gonna have to try and make a 5. I don't know. I think Kiera is with the group that I think is formed, which is Lee F, Sean, Noah, and then on the outs of that, but like in the group, is Ani and John Michael. But Ben said that he's good with Kiera a lot, so hopefully he could pull her in. I've been working with her a lot recently. So I'm hoping if I like clock that power dynamic to her, she realizes like, oh shit, that is true, and at least breaks one of them up. But if that doesn't work, yikes, it's over.
So, what are you planning on doing in these early rounds to survive? Because day 2's crazy.
Yes, day 2 is crazy. So I need to win a greenhouse challenge this round, like this first round coming in, because Maddie gave me all her seeds when she went, and then Dee Dee gave me her one, but I'm gonna give it back to her. So I want to win the greenhouse challenge, so I'm safe, and then I want to buy Green Thumb, so then I'm safe again. Because if I could get me and like Ben or Lee in nominating power this round, we could like take a shot at that alliance. And then if I have Green Thumb, even if all of them get in power, I could just, oop, here you go. And I think that's how we could kind of start breaking up like the group. But until then, if I don't win the challenge, I will be uprooting. I think I have 9 seeds, so.
Okay. And then, what would you say has been the most challenging thing thus far?
Definitely like the social dynamics. It's so hard to like figure out who is like actually with who, and like everyone is so good at the game. Like I feel like a lot of seasons there's like a few people that make day 2, and they're just kind of like floating around, not really doing much. But I feel like this season everyone's had like their moments. Everyone's like here to play. I feel like this is honestly like one of the most competitive seasons. So it's just like trying to figure out like who is actually like tight with who, and just like who the like groups are.
All right, hello Noah. Welcome to day 2 of the Greenhouse Season 8. So how are you feeling this morning after the events of yesterday?
I'm good. I am in a Final 3 with Kiara and Ani, and we have been approached for a Final 4 with Lee L, Lee F, Sean, John Michael. So pretty much the 3 of us are insulated with just about everybody. It is imperative that Matthew or Ben Wood do not win Sunflower today, this first elimination, because I probably have talked to them to the least, and it could be a rough start to the morning if they end up getting in there first.
How do you plan to change your plans if they do win Sunflower this morning?
Then I'm going to have to do what I did yesterday and just lie and steal. Sarah Cat won yesterday about midway through and told the entire house she was putting me up. And I was able to lock myself in a room with her for about 10 minutes and convince her that she was completely wrong. And she didn't put me up. And then we fly trapped her the very next week. So really it's been one of those things where I feel like I've done a good job that if people say my name, people let me know. And we just attack. We pounce.
I know you've kind of touched on it, but since you said you've only had one confessional, do you just kind of want to walk through your game so far?
Sure. So, got here at the very first day, very first challenge. Knew I probably needed to win, and I did. And it ended up blowing up because we ended up having a fly trap the first day, and the guy I nominated is the one who got it. Was able to convince him not to play it on me, which got me back into the house. And my game plan was to just try to win greenhouses. And other than that first one, I didn't win a single greenhouse. So with 15 people in the game from that point on and not being able to win greenhouses, it was purely on me to be social and make sure that I'm in the right rooms at the right times. And if I'm not, the people that I'm close with are in those rooms. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job with that. And we continue to just try to get that done today.
All right. So do you have any plans for today, a potential order you would like to see people leave the game?
Ben and Matthew got to go because the 8 people that would be left in the game are the 8 people that we have been kind of working with the whole day. And then from there, me, Kiara, and Ani, if we can get those 2 out first, we'll be able to just kind of maneuver and slide our way all the way. So the plan is to try to win some greenhouses, but if not, just keep smiling and waving.
And if your final 3 does end up being the final 3, do you feel that you have a good case against the jury?
I do. I feel like if I can stay unnominated and the fact that Ani is my wife, so to be able to have navigated that with nobody knowing, if we can get all the way there, I think it'll be it'll be a pretty good thing. Now, I think there are some bigger moves I need to make today now that we're on to day 2. And so I said I plan on getting in some greenhouses and stirring some shit up.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I do not. I'll see y'all at the finish line.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you feeling going into day 2?
A little nervous. Last round, last night, there was a last minute plan, it seems, to have taken DD out, which is not in my best interest, I don't think. So yeah, I'm nervous about who's realizing maybe they're not in a final 5, they're just in a final 8, or that they're still here. And I think that's going to have really interesting implications for the game this morning.
So who are you working with the most closely? Who's your next target?
So I think Lee has been my most consistent ally.
Which one?
Good point. Lee F. Lee L and I are fine, but never really speak. I should probably work on that. I would kind of be fine to see him go, or Matthew go first this morning, just because I don't think that they have enough agency to help pull me from like final 7 to final 4, but they can fine if they stay. There is a group of Kiera, Noah, Ani, and I who are a confirmed final 4 that I think I get 4th in, and so I'm willing to stick with it so that they don't realize I'm going against it, but I don't want to go with them in full. I think one of the 3 of them need to go for that to be successful for me. I really want DD to be my closest ally. John Michael was in that same boat, but we just haven't spoken in like 3 rounds, so I'm a little bit nervous for that as well. But at the end of the day, I don't think I'm anyone's number 1 target either, so we'll see what that means.
Thank you.